Yeah, one thing I'm worried about is like, will I only be able to see it on the stream? Because if so, will the lag matter?
Uh oh, yeah, I could share my screen too on the call. But
Yeah.
hey,
Okay.
yeah, so we should be live now. Um
Yeah, I see us. Okay, great. I'm
Weird,
gonna
I'm
mute
hearing
it
a little
because
feedback. Do I have it set up somewhere? Cool. You got the stream up? Are you hearing everything all good?
yeah. There's a bit of a lag, but yeah, I see
Okay.
it.
I will
So I'm just gonna turn
share
off
my
audio.
screen to you.
Okay, great. I hope this isn't too hard on your computer with all the stuff.
Oh, I think it'll be better than last time, but there you are twice.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
okay, do you see what? See my screen?
I do.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
beautiful. Thank you.
So we're gonna just stalk some Northwestern students' Twitter profiles. That's about it. We're gonna find what people got going on. Take a little dive into Northwestern Twitter, which is unfortunately very pre-professional, I would say. Um,
Mm.
but I was messing around with Twitter lists. And this picture is not Northwestern related at all, so I don't know why it's there. But I tried adding like spam adding a ton of people, but it was not successful. So we also a potential thing we can do is just look through the suggested list, which at this point will
Hmm.
pretty much just suggest Northwestern students, see if anyone has an interesting bio and just check out some of their stuff.
That sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, we can find our
Okay.
first culprit. So there's going to be a lot of Medill people because that's just who I knew, which I think Medill Twitter is particularly bad because it's everyone just trying to be a journalist, which
Yeah. I never tweet. I like I'm afraid of Twitter because I want to tweet things that I think aren't very journalisty, and then I just panic, and I never want to tweet things that are journalisty. So I just don't tweet it. It's bad. I have like a block.
my I actually didn't know about this, but I pulled up his account. My friend Lucas, he's my roommate actually. So I follow his normal Twitter, just like his personal one, and I didn't know he had like a professional one, but like this is his professional one where he just shows all the stuff he writes about basketball. And I was like, oh shit, because
Oh
his normal one
man.
has like 75 followers. Here, this is his, you
Yeah.
know, this is his normal. Just I'm a person posting SpongeBob memes account. But then he got this professional ass account, which makes me feel like I need to up my game.
Oh yeah, he's got like a ton of followers on it too. From just December?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Lucas, how?
I think it's just like um, kind of cool. So he writes for this. I mean, if we're just talking about what students do and kind of like student experience, he writes for this Nets blog. So he's like from New York, big Nets, Brooklyn Nets
Mm-hmm.
fan, and so he just writes for this kind of like up and coming blog, and so he posts to their stuff. So I'm pretty sure he gets like people through that. And additionally, he's been doing a lot of stuff on Reddit, kind of posting like NBA breakdowns on teams' Reddit pages. So
That's really interesting. I love that Reddit has become like a more of a source for things lately. I don't like know what to do with that information most of the time, but it's interesting.
it is because Reddit is just like of social media platforms by far the one you can find the most niche, like actually cool stuff on.
Yeah.
I don't use it nearly enough, but I'm trying to see if he links to any of them here. No, this looks. I think he told me he did. I haven't really looked through that, but let's see. See, these are all the Medill people. I'm getting
Yeah.
super filtered. Might need to try to call on other people to help make a great list of Northwestern Twitter because I just was spamming yes.
Yeah, I feel like all I have is like a few undergrads, like mostly all Medill grad students who didn't even go to NU. Oh, have you seen that NU Community Not Cops? Have you seen all of that? It's been really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
You've been following. How could you not? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it
I guess I
was
like assume because I don't like interact with that physically, but yeah.
oof, yeah, for our listeners, we had like Northwestern had a huge series of protests and like last quarter especially, but they've been going on even before then. With really pretty much the handle explains it, trying to get cops out of NU because fuck the police. Um, yeah, and they explain it well, but definitely very big, very
Do you
big.
know who? Do you have any inkling who like runs the account?
No, I don't know like the individual. I doubt that's public due to all the
Yeah,
things
yeah, it'd be a
like
huge risk, especially like
yeah, the
especially with the faculty and like the response to it. Like that wouldn't put them in a great position.
no, I mean they were even like when you actually went to the events, like very against taking video or anything at them, which is a little funny though, because I heard that they're doing like a short documentary on them.
Mm.
Some student is. So I'm like, okay, well you didn't want anyone to take any footage or anything, so
Maybe they'll have a lot more control over it or something. You know.
yeah, I mean, I know the reason is that they were worried about the administration, like, using the footage to go and find students. Which admittedly, like, I mean, if the if the admin did that, they'd just be awful. Like that's just
Right.
awful. And I think they've
I
done
feel like
it
that could be
before at some point, but I don't know.
yeah, I feel like that's the thing is I don't really know a lot about Northwestern, which has become a sticking point for me in our meetings all the time. But that was one of the things that was pretty cool to see, like immediately, was how the university had a bigger response to everything that was happening this summer and like very much personalized it and like made it about Northwestern.
Yeah, there's
So
definitely a lot of
you could
activism.
never. Yeah.
This
Yeah. Wow.
this is another organization that this one is for I think this was started for the workers like that were fired when quarantine started.
Wow.
Um, yeah, trying to keep people hired. It was I don't know if you are in the full like email blast and whatever, or if you follow that at all. But that's definitely something Northwestern Twitter always blows up on is whenever we get like a Morty email or
Yeah.
something, like that's when shit goes off. And they sent an email saying that for like this fiscal year, like they actually made more money
I
than they
can't.
lost.
I remember hearing about that, and then we like I don't know about what other schools got, but like yeah, we got scarves from Medill, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't like have sprung for like a sweatshirt at least, or
Hmm. Freezing up on me.
my fellow grad students and I are like really like struggling with career services, like just not being a thing, you know? And there was this hilarious Facebook thread that I wish I could like pull up. I only have screenshots about people like giving each other advice and everything. And someone posted the meme that was like the butterfly, like, what is this? Is this Medill Career Services? And it's like the Facebook
Hmm.
group. But yeah, it's like wild. Like, what are you saving money on, and how can we make it better before we can go back to class? You know?
Yeah, I mean it's rough. It's rough. I get how it's a rough situation for everyone, but yeah, a lot of justified reasons for shitting on Northwestern and the way they've handled the pandemic. But everyone, I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't know who has been successful, really.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I know my old undergrad like made people come back to the dorms immediately in fall semester, like as freshmen. So that was pretty wild.
Where'd you go?
There was also I went to CU Boulder,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and there was also like a ban on 18 to 22-year-olds gathering in Boulder, like most of the summer and
Oh my
fall.
God, just for those
Yeah,
ages, like age specific.
yeah, because it's like this horrible storm where it's like mostly like Boulder's like mostly the college, and then when it's not, it's like older, wealthy white people who are like liberal, but like a very like weird idea of it, and then like not abolitionists in the slightest, like still very Catholic like that. And so there's like a lot of animosity, like usually, and then everyone was like, they're the ones who are spreading COVID. We can't like let them do this. And granted, there were all these crazy viral pictures of like people at frat parties and stuff in like March and April, but it was wild that they were just like, you know what? No 18 to 22-year-olds. We can't have it. Everyone go home.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's not a fan. That seems a bit a bit reactionary.
Yeah, right. Do you know this
Dang.
person?
I do not,
Oh, let's figure out
but
what
I
they're about.
see they write for seen and heard. Let's see. Oh, that's what seen and heard.
Interesting.
Okay.
I was gonna guess it was like a film thing.
Ooh, yeah, I had my COVID test today. So like undergrads, we're supposed to be taking a test weekly that we have to sign up for and go get, and just all the testing sites were closed today due to how bad the weather was.
Wow. So you have like in-person classes, and so they test you once a week.
No, and we do. I don't have in-person
Oh,
classes,
okay.
and I don't think most people do. But we
That's super
still just get
interesting.
weekly testing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yep. Mine's on Mondays. It's to use the facilities technically. Um,
Dining hall, things like that.
yeah, I think I mean like for people that are on campus for, they like yeah, for those people, yes, I think it's a little more directly necessary. I like last quarter I was going up to SPAC and stuff, but with the weather being so bad, I don't like go to I'm not like going to the gym or
Yeah,
anything.
that makes sense. Which is probably like a way they can also justify like not reimbursing people tuition if they're like, well, the services are still available. We're getting you tested so you could use these services, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's also good just cuz we get tests, And like that
Yeah.
is definitely helpful to at very least weekly. No. Like okay, still don't have it.
Yeah, that's
Success.
fair. Yeah. Every time I get allergies, I'm like, do I go get tested right now? Like, I haven't seen anyone in 4 weeks, but do I go get tested?
Yeah. No, I'm kind of at that point where it is just a bit like I'm like, okay, I see two people a week, If there's my
Yeah.
roommate and then maybe I'll see one other person.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, what's this next one? This looks juicy.
What, this?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I haven't heard about this. I mean, he's always like, I don't know. I wonder if it's not always super newsworthy what like certain politicians are always just saying, but that's pretty wild.
Man, the governor of Florida is not followed by anyone I follow.
He's like, let me look this up because I'm pretty sure he's like pretty bad. Um,
I
I
mean,
remember I need to make sure I'm gonna like fact check myself real quick, but like I remember hearing in the spring when I was in Colorado that he got pissed. Sorry, he got mad. I don't know that Colorado was like trying to encourage people not to travel and closing the ski resorts, and he's like, I took off time to go on a ski trip and I can't go. And he was like mad that Colorado closed their ski resorts during COVID.
oh no.
But let me make sure I'm right. That'd be so bad if I'm wrong. I shouldn't like slander this person.
Eh, governor of Florida. Who cares? Um,
Right.
this actually, I do know this guy. I forgot. I do know him. Not like super well or anything, but I definitely seen him on Twitter a lot before. He just changed his profile picture. But man, here's some pictures if you see.
Yeah. Is that today? There's some
Yeah.
crazy right now. It looks like Oh my God, yeah, there's 4 inches of snow just piled
It's
up on my
dumb.
windowsill right now.
It's insane. Yeah, I don't even know how much. I've not been outside today, so it's one of those days. Um,
Yeah. Well, we like didn't have any food, and I was like, I think it'd be so immoral and unethical of me to get delivery today, like to make someone else drive in this. So I walked to the Chinese place to get dinner. So that's when I left the house. But I was like, I can't order takeout. Like I can't order delivery. That's like so messed up. You know what I mean? That's pretty wild.
yeah,
What are those normally? Those
I
boxes.
I am asking the same thing. Um, is this? I think this is the man. I can't. Yeah, I think behind Norris, like behind the student center, there's like just a grassy field. I'm not sure what those boxes are though. They must be
Yeah.
setting up something strange.
What could they possibly be planning right now? Like, what like
I mean, fair.
dude, like possums.
Okay, can I? Let's see. Can I zoom in?
You should we should ask him. They're like wooden box. Okay, they're
So,
wooden
but what are
boxes.
these? This is what interests me.
This looks like a Renaissance fair. Is there going to be a big cat show?
Phew.
I'm gonna find out there's actually something super cool and like cultural, and I'm just like ignorant.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be alone on that. Let's see. Oh man, gluten-free Oreos.
Yeah, this person tweets like they're not worried about sounding too much like a
I
journalist.
I sure, but also like, they're not like out here
Right
tweeting
then,
their,
yeah,
you know,
right.
um, non-PC opinions or anything. Not that you should be tweeting that. Um,
I guess I wonder like what the definition of non-PC is. 'Cause that's cute. That's fun. I don't know.
um,
Because like I wonder if like some of the more even like radical leftist things you could say aren't politically correct either, because they would get you in trouble politically. Is that something we could explore? Like, can you be too left for PC? My new book.
yeah, I think you can. Maybe PC isn't the right term because that just has such a connotation with it. But if we're
Right.
just talking about like if we just like avant-garde or,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to add
Fair.
more douchey terms to the list.
No thirsty tweets for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I
No thirst traps. Zach's not posting anything too risque.
Zach. Oh, I was thinking Zach, our class leader. Which
Oh my
I am
god.
sad. I'm sad that the slide I made for him with all his pictures from Facebook was deleted.
I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it. I feel like we were all panicking at the last minute. Like we should not have gone last. We should have volunteered first because then we wouldn't have to worry about everyone else sounding so much more professional than us.
Yeah, but also like that's not what they're going for, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed that like when everyone was reading their slides, granted the time limit was also kind of freaking me out. But when everyone got to our slides, like, we made them like really fun and quirky and like a meme, and everyone was like reading them like very straight faced because like we wanted to like look professional, and I thought that was really funny.
I think that's the way to do it though, is to give the facade of being very professional, but yet just the content everyone can see that the real
Mm,
vibe is.
I can get behind that. Yeah, that makes sense. Executive producer. He doesn't graduate for 2 years.
Okay. What?
Oh, it's the university, right?
Yes.
I need to learn.
Yes, one thing to comment about these Northwestern student bios, there's nothing Northwestern students, especially Medill students, love more than just listing out all the titles they've had. Everyone's had like 90 titles.
I'm getting more nervous as we're trying to like do outreach for our channel because I don't want to like say anything that's gonna make people mad at me, but super real with the grad students too. Like a bunch of magazine specialization people just made a magazine. And my friend was like, you didn't want to pitch to ones that already exist. Like, what do you like? What's gonna happen when you graduate? Like, if you're not like getting money
Yeah.
for this, and it's like, I read this piece. this like feature about how all these like really high achieving high school students nowadays are creating all of their own nonprofits instead of just like working at some or like volunteering. And then they all like go away when they graduate and they actually don't do anything, but it's so that they can say they're a
Yeah.
founder. And I get like the same vibe from Adele sometimes, like I founded a magazine or like I founded something, and it's like, but did you like, like it's not like this, it's like a sham, right? I don't know. Maybe that's not fair.
I think that's fair. I think it's just you know, not that this hasn't existed before, but people are finding out how to use their resources to help them in every single part of the college application process. And
Yeah.
as things, as like standardized tests and stuff are getting bad reps, and as those are becoming less like
Mm,
required, I think it's going to be more than how can we make the extracurricular stuff as, specialized and ideal as possible, which
God, yeah. Were you in any bullshit extracurriculars in high school or college? Did you ever do any of those?
I I would no, I'd say no, but that's also like I wasn't, I don't know. I didn't go to like a prep school or anything. And there's like a lot of, I just went to a um, big public school in Boise. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a public school in St. Louis, but it's like, because of white flight and segregation, like a pretty good public school. So a lot of my classmates were like pretty intense about things. And one of them ended up like, she was like gonna be a doctor, but then also just ended up on Broadway and was in
wow.
um, Hamilton.
Wait,
And I was
what?
like, cool, Yvette, pick something to be better at and let leave the rest for us, right? Like, cool. Um, and so a lot of my like one of my classmates is like at Moderna right now doing RNA stuff. But
Damn.
yeah, the most like BSy thing I did was there was this program where like juniors went to middle schools and talked about the harms of binge drinking, and like we were all supposed to take this pledge to like not drink in high school. And my high school had like a really big Mormon population. I actually wonder if yours did too, if you were in
Yeah, yeah, for
Idaho.
sure.
Yeah. And the Mormons were like actually pretty cool. Like they were like popular kids.
Yeah.
So we had like half of it was like Mormons and the other half was like people who absolutely were drinking all the
Yeah.
time. But it was just like it was such a college application thing of like I want this on my app and that's why we do it.
Damn.
But
That's funny. Yeah, I only got like, I don't know. I only got like, hey, I should apply to a good school, one that'll give me a lot of money, especially because I'm on like some sick financial aid. So I about like junior year, and I was reading some like basically the equivalent of in-depth Reddit articles in college application process, and basically learned that like all those basically said that if you do that, schools don't give a shit. Like they can sniff that out from a mile away.
oh, I bet. I bet.
So I was just like, well, fuck it then. I didn't do any charity work, you know.
Yeah.
I try to be a good person, but I ain't out here fundraising.
Yeah, I still, oh my God, I have like flashbacks to how horrible college applications were. Grad school wasn't quite as bad, but yikes. I was just so burned out my senior year that doing anything on top of staying afloat in my classes is like a nightmare. And so I remember I opened the University of Chicago's thing, and their essay question was like, "Can you describe like the cultural context of the color blue?" And I was like, "I'm not doing this." And I just closed the application. I was like, "I don't need to go to University of Chicago." I was like, "Absolutely not, not today."
Fuck
So
that.
everything was a start. I applied early to CU, and like early action found out pretty quickly, and then I kind of like, oh my God, I half people who can like pay and stay afloat, right? But I guess not because you get a scholarship. So
Oh, sorry, I missed the end of what you said.
oh no, I was just saying, like, I feel like what do colleges actually want? Like, I feel like I always like thought that they just want people who will like stay there and pay, but I feel like there must be other reasons. That's like they pick people. I guess like sometimes they want people who are like interesting, right? Like that's probably how you got into Northwestern is like you're interesting, successful. Because obviously you're not paying, so like that doesn't benefit them as much. But I guess the scholarships aren't usually by the school; they're by other people. So they just need someone to fill them, right?
Um, no, I think for like Northwestern just has such a ridiculous endowment that the amount of interest their money makes can pay for Like
Wow.
so much. I mean, I think it's $10 billion. I'll look up. But like imagine having $10 billion in a bank account.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like of
Yeah.
course that's gonna make some money. Yeah, 11.1
Yeah.
billion.
This is my first public or private university. So it's definitely a different thing. But to use a fucking it's like basically private because Colorado is like one of the worst states in terms of how much they put into any of their higher education or education in general, I think.
Yeah.
So CU costs like way more than most public schools should. But then we still get all the Californians because it is not nearly as bad as all the Californian schools. Those are so expensive.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I feel every school everywhere has like half the population is like from California. It doesn't matter where.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Besides all the Californian schools, which have people from everywhere else, right?
yeah, yeah, probably. It's Yeah, it is interesting because like the schools are totally, totally out here to make money, but then also at the same time, I think like a school like Northwestern does like their applications are all like need blind, So
Yeah.
theoretically, but that's just what's so weird because what if theoretically everyone like qualified for aid, like would they have enough? Because
Uh, like, yeah, could you call their bluff? Like everyone needed it.
but I wonder how much the applications without specific, like even without listing need, I wonder how much you can tell. Like I wonder how much the rest of the application, like can they easily classify you into like different your family into income levels just based
Yeah.
on
They like control F like horse camp and then put those all in the box. Yeah, I don't know. This person looks interesting. Oh, also look on the side. Fire Chris Harrison is trending, which I'm only
yeah.
privy to because of you, Beck.
Yeah, over here. Yep, we got the whole all that business. Yeah, this person I definitely see tweet a lot. I don't know their name,
Wow.
but
Those retrogressive, like public things. Yeah. I missed like half of what you just said. Sorry.
oh, I said I this person I see tweeting a lot.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Listening to Northwestern students
It
talk
looks
about
like
politics is so depressing.
yeah. I always like people's like side of their experience in class. I'm always like, what was it actually like though? Like, are you just saying that you cracked an entire class, or was it like not like that? You know what I mean?
Wait,
But
wait for
I'm
what?
just cynical. Like whenever someone posts a story online, like especially Reddit, but like Instagram or Twitter, they're like, I just had to like teach my class this thing, or I had to say something. I'm always like, what was that actually like though? Like, was it like, you know, like just you, or was like a few people say said something and you were like, no, that's dumb. Like, I'm really curious to see more what that was like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen like a decent amount of like, oh my God, this person in my class tweets, and I think that would be a great thing to lie about tweeting because
Yeah.
I tweeted one time, and hey, this will be better. I can break down my Twitter. That'll be a like literally my account.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what this is even in reference to. Wait, is this a response? I must have been live watching something,
Was it
but
about The Bachelor?
no, I don't know
Oh
why I would
yeah.
have said rigged for that. Okay, I'm gonna delete this tweet because I don't even know what it's about, and I'm the only one that liked it. I liked my own tweet.
That's amazing.
See, I've got an astounding 66 followers.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere in that range, but I don't use it. So, ugh.
See, I tweet Survivor memes.
Mm. I've been
Yeah.
told that's like really good and I should watch it. Should I watch Survivor?
Yeah, I mean, you should check it out. Like,
Okay.
people that like it really like it. There's, 40
That's what you,
seasons, so
yeah.
it's the type of thing that if you really dig, you'll be able to, there's so much content out there that if you do click with it, it's like, you've got
Yeah.
a lot of
It's like,
stuff.
isn't it like 40 seasons or something like that?
Yeah, 40 seasons,
Oh my God. That's
but
insane to me.
yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh my God, Tucker Carlson. What'd you tweet?
This is him talking about Hassan Abi.
Is that photoshopped? Massive dreamboat. Awuga.
No, no.
Oh, I can't get this. Not getting this. Wait, maybe I can get it on the stream.
Mm. So I'm also one of the things about the Skype NDI that's a bit of a bummer. The images does some resizing, so like you'll just become tiny sometimes and then really giant. So I just keep on adjusting your size. But
Why me? Why not you? Because are you just using your webcam? That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let's see. I can also try to share my audio through the call probably if I know how to do that on Skype, which I do not. Well, we don't need to watch it anyways. He just
No, we get
was
it. We get
talking
the
about
gist.
he was talking about Hassan being a hunk.
Tucker Carlson is such a. I just don't know what to do with him as a concept. This girl in one of my classes brought up that she was using him as a source for how she wants to interview people for a project. And our professor was like, please, dear God, don't do that. Why would you do that? And she's like, I just think, like he's kind of fun tactics. And she's like, he's not a journalist. Please don't do that. That's pretty wild. She like shut her down.
Damn. Hey, we can all be sensationalists, now and again and always.
Dang. Can you hear that? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. All good.
God.
Man, when I saw this, I don't think this even happened. But this scared me. This scared me for a hot second.
I don't even know what that means. Would that be like playing music?
I mean, probably more like movies. I think
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what people are more worried about. Um,
Yeah. I was curious because I know that like Patricia, she did like a music one and it just showed up like on the next one. Or like when it was done, the replay was like pretty weird. But I listened to her whole thing and it didn't censor her in the moment.
yeah, the music, nah, their tech's not good enough to do that.
Cool.
Also, people shouldn't have such a. I don't know. It's tough. I'm very torn on copyright stuff because I'm like like I'm to my own extent a creative, and I understand that like you want to make it possible for creatives to get paid, but
Hmm.
then at a certain point when you like have too harsh copyright restrictions, you get into like situations where like YouTube is at where they'll just cut down videos ad nauseum, and like at a certain point
Yeah.
also people want you to use their stuff if it means more people are watching your stuff, right? Because it's not always a trade-off. It's not like you making a video talking about a video I made necessarily means less people will not watch my video.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be more like the opposite, especially with streaming, because it's not like people are like gonna open Twitch and just replay the same 5 minutes of a thing to like hear the song they want to hear instead of going to stream it somewhere else, like just to
Yeah,
hear it. You know what I mean?
yeah, of
I feel like
course.
that is something that like in middle school me absolutely did. Like I would record things off of YouTube on my little recorder and play them back to myself. But like most sane people with technology today don't do that kind of thing?
I mean, yes, it's also been made easier now because like there are streaming platforms which are
Yeah.
cheaper. Like we all have access to Spotify or Apple Music or something.
I know I honestly feel like this is so kids today of me But I really feel like people who are middle school now just don't know the struggle of like having to buy everything you wanted or like stream it from like some sketchy site like LimeWire or something.
I I remember like with very fondly when I first got like an iPod Touch, before I had like a phone or anything.
Yeah.
Um, and I just that's back when like the illegal streaming sites were so unregulated that I could just watch anything. It was sick. I downloaded all different shows. I was just watching everything on my tiny iPod screen.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. For music, my favorite was this website called like downloads.nl from the Netherlands. And and it's just crazy to think like I think people forget like the whole history of like how people played to that too. Like how like didn't Lil Wayne become famous through like illegal streaming? Um, I'm gonna look this up. He put his mixtapes under like um under musicians like more popular hits, and then people would accidentally download his stuff and be like, "This is really cool." I might be getting confused with someone else because I feel like he was in enough before then. But there was someone who like really got a lot in because he would like label them on streaming sites as the wrong thing and they'd look up who he
Oh,
was.
damn. No, I haven't heard that, but that makes sense.
I feel like he's too old. It must be someone else, but maybe I'm underestimating how old long ago this was. I'll look it up. Okay. But keep
Yeah, I
going.
guess
Yeah.
in the meantime, I'll bring up this, which I retweeted. Did you ever get Movie Pass?
Yes, I love Movie Pass. Well, not, I knew it was like doomed to fail,
Yeah,
but yes, yes.
dude,
I had
everyone
it for
did.
like 8 months.
Yeah.
So good. I like watched so many movies. I feel so bad for people who just were afraid to do it, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't know why anyone was afraid to do it. There was no shot
It
you, the
wasn't you.
individual, were gonna be liable. They said you could cancel at any time. So hell yeah, I was paying
Yeah.
$10 a month to see as many movies as I wanted.
So good. So good. And like so many things I wouldn't have seen otherwise, I think, because like you don't like want to spend that much, like $14 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing. Oh my God. I saw like Call Me by Your Name with that. I saw I, Tanya with that, I'm pretty
I
sure.
think I did too. Yeah, with Movie Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they started getting a little they were like trying to scare us and be like, we'll punish you somehow if you like do it wrong. But even like people who weren't doing it wrong, it was still such a deal. And then I think that this is my theory about MoviePass. I think that what they did could have worked if they marketed a totally different audience. Like if they hadn't made it so techy and had done like older people, then I think it could have worked because like all of my grandparents, aunts, and uncles are signed up for like a million things that they forget about immediately and don't ever use. But like young people will never pay for something they're not going to use. So of course young people are going to do it. They need to like get on a bunch of like cable is one of those things where like people totally have it and they need to like get into that group of people who would like totally forget they do it and never go. Or like Planet Fitness also does this. That's my thought process.
Yeah, I love the business strategy of let's get people to sign up and then forget that they've got our service. Um,
Yeah, which like it
but
has worked for some people, but it did not work for them.
nah, people just use their service too much. Yeah, I mean, I remember everyone just being like, the economics of this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
I
there's someone
watched.
in the replies saying that it used to be like $30.5 a month, and that's pretty shocking to me. Huh. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no. Oh
I didn't even
damn,
know it was a
I didn't know
thing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know something that did happen because of Movie Pass is there were some other like monthly movie subscription
Yeah.
services that came out through the theater companies, which is still a bit like, it's okay actually. If it helps theater companies still exist, because COVID's been really bad for that, and like, I like going to the movies. I know not
Me
everyone's
too.
vibes, but like, come on, I think the movies
I
are
love
always a
them.
fun. Yeah, they're so fun.
Yeah.
Not because I
It's
I
also
love
like
movies, but going to it is fun. The event.
it feels like a really good antidote to like a lot of the issues we have with like short attention spans and like phone scrolling. Like it's like one place where you're like totally obligated to not be on your phone and actually just pay attention to what you're doing. And I think that's really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. and especially big releases, you get the audience viewing experience, which you so rarely get. And that, I mean, that can be annoying sometimes. Like, of course, it has its bad sides, like people talking and just people pissing you off next to you. But there's so many other times when it just enhances the experience.
Yeah. I love when there's jump scares and everyone's like, "Oh God." That's like so good.
Yeah, my best movie scene experience is Get Out when I saw like the opening weekend in like a packed crowd and people were just going crazy.
That's good. I didn't get to see that one live. I mean, at the theaters live. What the? But I did see Us in theaters, and that one was pretty
Yes.
good. That one like freaked me out. That like I stayed awake for a few nights.
The
Get Out is like
bunnies.
too specific, you know. Although, oh my god, I'm not gonna remember this. I shouldn't even bring it up. But I like remember seeing something that like weirdly was so like reminiscent of Get Out, but it was like a real life thing of just like creepy fetishization of someone. And I'm like, do you realize this was a whole movie about you? Like, why are you doing this? But I guess they're based on something. Did you ever see Midsommar?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't. I saw Hereditary and I fucking hated it. So then I like didn't want to see
Oh,
Midsommar.
you hated Hereditary? I loved Hereditary.
Well, I just feel like there's this genre of horror, and I'm like a big well, okay, this is the caveat. I really like horror novels. Like I love Stephen King. I read so many thrillers, but I think I'm a little bit too skeevy for movies. I don't like feel like I want to see it. You know, it feels a lot more like in your
Oh.
face. With like a book, you can like really take your time through a scene. And with a movie, it's just like happening. And Hereditary was like so awful, sad, disgusting, and not just scary that like it was really hard to get there. Like when like the one thing that was like too much for me. Um, but I heard Midsummer was a little bit better, especially since it's like all young people. I feel like that doesn't bother me as much as like when kids get hurt. I feel like I'm a little bit like old school about that and like skeeved out. But alas,
Yes, the scene you are talking about in Hereditary got me hard.
so oh my
Like I was
god.
shocked. I was shocked. I don't know if I've been like more like that was one of the most shocked I've been.
And they didn't like hint at it at all. They didn't like build up to it. It was like
No,
so there. And
which
it's
is
like
so
kind of
great.
it's like one of those freaky things that I think also really gets to me because like you hear stories about people doing things like that and it just happens to people, and so it like feels a little bit too real too that like could happen. You know what I mean? Ugh. But then you're supposed to like not really like her, but then also the reason you're not supposed to like her is because she's like neurodivergent and like ugly, and then that feels weird that you're like, it's like it really gets at like what's wrong with you as a person. The movie does.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're not supposed to like her, but she also does become like a part of like the grandmother's plan and like she's supposedly possessed, you know?
Yeah,
There's
is it
like
she's
this
supposed to be the
whole
grandma the whole time or not? Or something less abstract?
I
Yeah.
I don't think it's that specific. I think
Yeah.
maybe that she's like a part of it or she's supposed to be like demon like in
Yeah.
some way. Um no, see I'm a big horror movie fan.
Have you seen I just watched one that like God. I liked this one, but it was rough. It was oh my God, it was called Vivarium.
No, I do not know of it.
Okay, you'll have to watch it. It's very similar. It's like unsettling. It's not the usual horror that I think I like a lot more. It's just like super bleak, depressing, and like uncanny valley kind of thing.
It's this?
Yeah, yeah, with
Just
the guy I always think is Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, Jesse
yeah,
Eisenberg.
the guy that the guy
Because
that
of the
from the
network.
social network. Yeah, yeah. And
And
Zombieland and
they're both so good in it, but it is like bleak and creepy and sad as well as terrifying. It's a very slow burn. Like a lot of people don't like it because it's a long slow movie. But have you seen I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
yes. Yes.
Have you read that book? I read the book right before I watched
No,
it.
I've not.
It's really quick. I think you should still read it after you see the movie. I like the movie a lot more than the book though, to be honest.
Okay.
But like some people thought the opposite. The book is I think a lot more depressing. I think that Charlie Kaufman really made it like more beautiful than it could have been, like the end.
Yeah. No, that was like one of those movies that I did watch as it came out because I was like hyped from the Netflix trailer and stuff. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of being John Malkovich. Like the
Oh, yeah, I saw that this fall. I don't like it that much either.
yeah. So I wasn't like like so confident I'd love it or anything. I found it to be really interesting. It's like one of those movies that I watch and I'm like, I finish it, I'm like, okay, I don't know what that meant. Like I don't,
Yeah.
like clearly there were so many things going on that I did not understand, but I'm excited to like figure some of them out. So then I went and watched I read all the explanations and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's good. I really was glad I read the book when I watched the movie because I think it made me like the book so much more, or the movie, because I was like looking for the things that I knew that happened in the book, even though they're very different. And I think he did a very good job of making the movie really interesting because I was like, how the fuck would you turn this book into a movie? Like it's so out there, but he did a really good job and like definitely diverged pretty hard in some ways, but in ways that like made a lot of sense to me. Um, but the book I read, there was like a 3 week period. My girlfriend drove all the way out to Seattle to see her family, and I was alone in the apartment, and I like decided to read it then, and that was like a horrible decision
Okay.
because it was just like so like nothing matters when I'm so alone. I like went to the grocery store in the hopes it would help me, but everyone there was like frantic and stressed, and I was like, oh, I don't feel better here.
Damn.
It was so bad.
Oof. Affected
So
that
I still
psyche.
recommend it
Okay.
if you live with people.
Oof.
Yeah.
One person at the moment. So
Mm. I did that. I watched Bly Manor when she was gone too. Have you seen Hill House or Bly Manor on Netflix?
no, I know a lot about them. Like I of course heard a ton about them as they were all the
Yeah,
buzz. But
they're fun. I like them. I like the idea of a horror show. I feel like that's pretty new. Um,
yeah, I don't know.
the only ones I could think of before were like shitty Stephen King miniseries. Like I don't know any others, but
There's the one it's like a different story each season. What am I thinking of?
oh,
There's like so many seasons.
American Horror
Yeah, yeah,
Story.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only one I can really
yeah, that
think
was
of.
interesting. I like that like the seasons quality changes a lot as it goes on. I feel like that's like very like normal and authentic. That like some stories are just terrible and some are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one as much. It feels very. I mean, like his whole thing is like very irreverent, which I think can be kind of cool, but it's also kind of exhausting when you're like all these characters I like are gonna die needless, unceremonial deaths, you know. But and I think that the Hill House and Bly Manor do a really good job of like respecting their characters in a way that I think feels a little more Stephen Kingy to me, and I really like. But I'm also just like a sap, so
What, just a sap? What do you mean?
yeah. Like okay, I don't know. Have you seen Doctor Sleep?
No.
Okay. Do you want me to spoil anything for you? You
I
can
don't
just
I don't care.
right. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's like the sequel to The Shining, and there's a bunch of things that like don't align with the book because in the book of The Shining, the hotel burns down. Like Jack doesn't like die outside. Like the
Yeah.
hotel totally burns down, so they have to like fix those things. But the book came out after Stephen King got in this like pretty nasty car accident in the 90s where he just got like fucking hit by a truck. He wasn't in a car. He was like walking and got like hit by a truck and almost died. And ever since then I've like paid attention. His books are like a lot sappier. Like good guys don't die as much as they
Okay.
did before. And for me, it brings me like so much comfort. Like in Doctor Sleep, um, like nobody dies. Like none of the good guys die. And I was like, wait, how did this end? And like none of them died. But it like made me really happy. But in the movie, they don't do that. And that was interesting to see. But yeah, I think like I just feel like life's hard and like people I know are gonna die. You know what I mean? So like I rather like so it's like a weird thing where like I really like horror, but like I really have to prepare myself if like that's a thing that's going to happen in a movie. And so American Horror Story is always like just so like senseless about things, which I think a lot of people really like, but to me it feels less like it feels more shock value than like really respecting the characters. And I think the Hill House Bly Manor franchise is like amazing with that. Like you find out, well, I don't want to spoil, but you find out like someone died in Bly Manor, and they did like such a good job of like really making you feel everything and like love this character. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Which is another thing about Hereditary I didn't like. It was like it was very shock value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I felt they did a good job of making me care about the characters' relationships. Um,
mm-hmm.
or at least I felt that I knew them. Like I very much disliked the mother, the way she was handling the situation, but it's also like they put her through so much trauma that it's like it's
Yeah.
I do like stories in general, and like horror is a good genre for this, but like I like stories that do make you feel conflicted about what you are feeling, and I
Yeah.
and horror is good for that for sure.
It's that's so true. I feel like a lot of thrillers. I feel like there's this like emerging genre of like women written thrillers, and like they can be varying things. Like technically, you could say Big Little Lies is one, but then there's ones that are like way darker and like everyone sucks. You know, it's like everyone sucks here kind of thing, where it's like kind of hard to get into story. I'm like, why are you like this? Like, why can't you just not be like this? You know? But sometimes that's important because like it forces you to really reckon with like, can you believe someone is innocent even if you don't like them? You
Yeah.
know?
What, like Gilliam Flynn type stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a really good one. Except for I loved Gone Girl, which was that was the opposite. She was guilty, but like I feel like
Yeah.
I personally felt really sympathetic to her, so it's really interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean Gone Girl's great. Did you read like Sharp Objects? Or
Yeah,
watch it? Yeah, yeah.
so good. I read Chop Art, and then what is the one that's like dark something?
T-
It's one of her early ones.
yeah, I know what you're talking. I don't think I read it. Um,
That was a similar one where like yeah, the person it's like it's kind of like a did this person commit murder or not, and you're not sure the whole time. A little bit like well, I mean this is a fictional serial, like you never really know what's happening, and that one was interesting but pretty bleak. And sometimes I like be reading a book or listening to a book or like watching a movie, and I love doing jigsaw puzzles. And sometimes the memory of when I'm watching will like imprint on the puzzle in a way it like kind of ruins the puzzle for me, and I have to like redo it to like a brighter thing. And that one, some Gillian Flynn I was listening to. I was listening to this horrible scene with like an alcoholic abusive father while I was like doing this puzzle, and I was like, oh, I hate this, and it like so visually connected to what I was listening. And that happened with No Country for Old Men too. I was like doing a Great Wave puzzle when I was watching No Country for Old Men, and then I like couldn't finish it. The puzzle later. I was like, this is such a bleak movie. Like I can't do
damn.
it.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't really get that, but I like it's funny. I like that stuff, does have effects because I think I have my own like equivalencies of those where there's like some stories where I'll just it's not like it'll negatively affect something else, but it'll just like be stuck on, in my head like when
Yeah.
it's done and I'm just like I can't not think about it.
Yeah. One scary one like that to me was did you see Under the Silver Lake? It came out like a few years ago.
No, I didn't.
That one is really interesting. I think you'd actually really like it. Super weird movie, super surreal, but there is like the scary part with like a creepy person in it. And that person, I was like, this is such a stupid concept when I was watching it. And that night, I was like staying awake, like they're coming for me, like they're gonna kill me. It was like so funny how that was a thing that came back. But
I'm
you
look
should watch it, and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
okay, I'm looking it up. It's just a movie?
Yeah, Andrew Garfield, I think, is the famous person in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very LA in a way that like I don't know, so it's like very fun to see. I think I wouldn't even say Jeff Bridges is in it, but I might be wrong about that.
Hmm. Okay. I'm trying to see if I know the director, but I don't. Oh, it's the guy that did It Follows.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but that makes a lot of sense to me just from what I've heard about it. Yeah,
Oh
it's a really
yeah.
good movie. It's
You
fun.
you haven't watched It Follows?
No, I haven't.
Hmm. I'd
Oh,
say not one of my personal favorites, but like it's good. It's definitely very good. And that's just because I've got, other favorites. But
yeah.
you should
Okay,
watch
that's
it.
good. I feel like I kind of write it off as a little bit of like a high school like sex slasher movie, but maybe it's
It's
not
not really.
worthy of
It's
that.
more monster movie than slasher.
Oh, interesting.
Um, I
Okay.
mean, do you know like the basic plot synopsis?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. It's like a horrible STD, right?
It's like an STD monster. So just
Yeah, it's like a paranormal
yeah, it's just
thing.
a monster that follows you and like the way you that it doesn't follow you is if you sleep with someone and then it passes on to them.
I feel like that's so metaphoric, but I don't really know what it is metaphoric of,
I,
right?
okay,
Do you
yeah, I
know?
would say that the metaphor is kind of the way that people will get attacked for um sex. premarital sex or whatever.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but by making those fears into like a physical monster.
God, brutal. Glad I didn't watch it when I was 14. It probably would have traumatized me. That's wild. What's it? Um, oh, there's one that I haven't. Have you seen Invisible Man?
Yes, I have.
Did you like that one? That's one I've been wanting to watch.
So I did not really like that one. A lot of people
Okay.
did though, so I cannot say that I like don't recommend it. I think it had some good scenes. That's Stephen King too, right? It's based on.
I don't think so.
Is it
No.
not?
Um, no.
Mm. Oh no, no. Is it?
No, I've
So it's
never
a
heard the story.
remake of.
Of an old book, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, but then also an older movie. There's a
Oh, okay.
1933 film. Okay, it's H.G. Wells. I'm totally totally wrong time. Period.
Yeah.
1897. Um, but it's it's set modern day. There's a lot of like I'm trying to I'm not confident that allegory is the right word because it might be a little more on the nose than that, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of allegory about like abusive relationships, like especially emotionally abusive relationships, and I don't think they do a great job with that. And because I think that's
Mm,
like a key aspect of the film, I didn't overall like it a ton. Um, I just think it's a little sloppy the way they do it, and I think also if you not to be too restrictive, but like if you do something like that, I kind of want to like the main character more, and I want to like understand her not just as a victim, but they constantly
yeah.
frame like I think the film does like relies on that a little too much, and yeah,
Yeah. I just read a thriller that was really similar of like this woman who was like a horror novelist as well. So it's like, okay, you're projecting onto your characters now. Um, and she was like this really like kind of helpless, mentally ill woman in a codependent relationship who just writes novels and like doesn't really get involved with her marriage or her life all beyond that, like doesn't have any friends anymore, all these things. Yeah, and it's just like so like helpless, victim-y person. And then also super unsympathetic because at one point like her husband goes missing and everyone's like, did you kill him? And she's just so bad at like doing anything to make it seem like she didn't kill her husband. And I'm like, it's hard to like you, you know? It's really interesting.
is that the one that stars the same actress?
This one I don't even know if it's a movie. It came out as a book this year.
Oh, okay.
Um what was the book called? Oh god. That's how little I like um maybe look it up. It's by someone who's written quite a few books, but I haven't read anything else by her yet. But it was like in the New York Times like favorite thriller list, and I was like, I don't know if I agree with this. Um, yeah, and then I read another book this year that was very similar. Like everyone is just so bad, but that one was like they pulled it off a lot more, and it was still really riveting to read. This one was, oh my God,
Okay.
this would be easier to
What
find.
I was thinking of was Shirley, which
Oh,
might be totally
I don't know
different.
what that is.
Um, just
Yeah.
about a horror writer. Um, I didn't watch it. I didn't actually watch it, but I know my family did and told me to.
Oh, is it about Shirley Jackson?
Probably. Let's see. Let's see if we get a full name somewhere.
The one I'm thinking of is To Tell You the Truth. I don't think it's anything important, but
Okay.
yeah.
To tell you the truth. Okay. No, I do. I get kind of in stints or like in little binges, I'll say, where like I'm big into, movies and shows, but I definitely watch them in like I'll have, a
Yeah.
month where I watch, 10, 15 movies or something. Then I'll like not watch a movie for weeks.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched a movie for a while, but I need to sit down and bang out some horror movies for sure.
I feel like when like I get stuck with schoolwork and things, reading has always been pretty okay for me. But like when I get into schoolwork and I'm really busy or stressed or like it's cold outside and I'm like depressive, I'm really bad at watching anything interesting. I like will only watch like things that I've always seen a million times because I like want something to be
Yeah.
comforting and I don't get adventurous unless I'm like also feeling like better in every way. But reading is easier. I always feel like reading is not as hard to do.
Ooh,
In fact, I feel like when I'm like having a really bad day, that's like the only thing I can do.
cannot relate. I find reading, yeah,
Interesting. Well, I also read like mostly like page turners, so
yeah,
that probably helps a lot.
yeah.
But
I'm just like bad attention. You know, I'd say of
yeah.
everything I read, it's like mainly just articles online. Like, you know, I can read
Well,
longer form stuff in that
yeah.
way, but I rarely am like I'm gonna pick up a book because
Yeah.
my brain it's just
I
not
can
good.
be I can be kind of bad about it. I try to read things that are like really engaging, like, Liane Moriarty, like Stephen King, things that are like hard to put down. And then also I'll get a lot of things in the library on my phone. And then I like know that I have to do it before it gets like yoinked back. And that makes me read it a lot more. But I just don't like giving up on things. I'm like not gonna give up on a book, so then I feel like I have to read it even if I don't like it before it like that's not true. I do like giving up on things, other things. But like with books specifically, I feel like I can't. You have to give it a try.
Oof, no, I'm big into giving up on things. I'm big advocate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh, this I was also gonna highlight her, but also if we need this to be done
Yeah.
too,
Well,
whenever.
let's talk about her. We can end
Okay.
on.
Well, she's the one that I didn't actually reach out to her. We were actually in a pre-orientation program together. So like before our freshman year, like the week before we were uh like at the same thing, hung out. She's super cool. Made so she's the one that has a short film at like a film festival right
Oh,
now. And I
wow.
guess just had a Q&A panel, so kind of want to go watch her thing. I think it was on
Yeah.
yeah, on a barbershop.
I might have heard of this. Isn't it about like the community? Who what the fuck? It must have been someone in my class talking about her.
Oh, it must have been. Yeah, I think it is. It's about more the community around the barbershop.
Yeah.
But no. Do you have any of those people who you've like hung out with a couple times and stuff, but you guys just aren't good enough friends to, hit up and hang out, especially not in a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's so hard.
Yeah.
And like on one hand, like coming to Northwestern like for grad school in the pandemic has made me like be really aggressive about that kind of thing. And I'll be like, hey, text me, let's become
Yeah.
friends, which I don't think I would have done before. But yeah, especially in college, and you have like your whole life and you already have a big social circle, and you're like, this person's really cool and I should hang out with them. But I honestly just like it'd be like so much work to do it. You know what I mean? And then I have to like appeal. That happened to me a lot where I'm like, we could have been best friends. I just don't even know. I just don't even know.
Yeah. It is weird, especially now, because I can just blame everything on COVID. Although I know I probably wouldn't be doing like I'd be doing different things, but it's probably like me and Lauren would probably not be, best friends if there wasn't COVID. But that's an excuse to be like, oh,
Right.
that's the reason why, even though there was, a year and a
Yeah.
half where
No, I think that's totally fair because, like, I mean, like my senior year, I feel like I actually did make a couple new friends despite the like no new friends rule. And I actually met my girlfriend my senior year. And I feel like if I was in a pandemic, like, yeah, I never would have started dating her because it's like an in-person job and like a bunch of people I became friends with, I never would have like hung out with. So I think there is that kind of like, yeah, maybe it would have happened, but it's also like impossible to say. I don't know. And other things wouldn't have happened that are just as good. So then, like, who knows? I wouldn't have a cat right now if it wasn't for the pandemic. I'm pretty sure. So.
wait, that's cool. Wait, so senior year, that was like did you finish senior year last year? Or was that years ago?
Oh no.
Years
Oh no.
ago.
It was 2018. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
not
Yeah, it's
that
not.
far,
You're
but
like,
yeah,
oh
I'm making it
no.
sound like I'm like 27, like been out of college for
Yeah, yeah.
decades. No, it was 2 years ago. So I had 2 years
Okay.
off. So I like took a year and then I applied to grad
Yeah.
school. Um, I will say, staying around my little college town after I made new friends and it was fine, but that was pretty depressing. Like everyone like started moving away, and I was like, why am I still here? But then I got to know Boulder outside of CU, and that was pretty cool, so it was worth it. But God,
Yeah, that immediately like the short term has to be bad because you're just like I'm in this
yeah,
place where I used to know all these people and now I don't. And that
Yeah.
I get how that
I
blows.
wonder how that is with Evanston too, like because I feel like it has a similar vibe of like it is a place and it also is incredibly around the school. And I think with Boulder, like, yeah, it was something weird where like I just like didn't go back to campus for like 6 months, and I like did all these other things, and I go back to campus, and I was like, what is campus? So it's like they're totally separate worlds a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yeah, I don't think Evanston feels like that because Evanston's the
oh yeah,
size where the school is half the.
yeah, that's maybe fair. Boulder I think used to be more like that. In fact, the craziest thing about living in Boulder with that, it's like a place where the population is really booming pretty quickly, and it's easy to like hear that, but then like I actually think it changed quite a bit in the 6 years I lived there, and it's like crazy to think that like, I saw that happen a little bit more because when I got there, it was like the proportion was pretty dramatic. I think it was like a third of people that lived there were college students, so the population would like tank in the summer when all the freshmen were there and stuff like that. And then by the time I left, it like tons of people moved to Boulder, you know, and like away from the school, and like there was a Google campus there and all this
Yeah.
stuff, so it really changed.
Yeah. I know Boulder, like Boulder as like a trendy city. That's
Especially since
the
you're from
vibe
like
I
the
know from
West,
it.
I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard similar things about Boise. Are you from Boise or are you from a different place?
I'm from Boise. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I
I'm.
have a friend who grew up in Moscow.
Oh, very very far away.
Okay, yeah, I have no perception of that.
No, no, no. It's all they're in the college town. That's where
Yeah, her parents
University
are
of Idaho
professors.
is.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but no, it's like I just laugh because it's like 7 hours away, seven and a
Oh
half
wow.
hour drive.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is really
It's
weird coming from like the Midwest to Colorado, where like even Colorado is like fairly densely populated, and like beyond like Fort Collins, Boulder, Colorado Springs, it takes you 8 hours to get to the next like city. And
yeah.
here it's like you could like hop skip over to wherever and it's right there.
Yeah, the East Coast is the craziest though, because
Yeah.
everything's just like within a few hours of each other there. So yeah,
Yeah.
these West Coast travel distances are,
Nutty.
yeah,
I know. I think I'm planning on like moving back out to the West in some form after I leave. Because I'm like trying to
yeah,
remember that. But I've only been here a year. So
yeah. I think the West will just always feel like home a bit more, like that vibe. I don't know. I don't love being. I mean, Boise gets winters, but I don't love being stuck inside like I feel when it's really bad in Evanston
yeah,
and
I
like
think we did that when it was
Chicago.
different. Like there was a little bit more celebration when there was a bad winter in Colorado or like a bad snowstorm. So you'd be like, okay, but I'm gonna go skiing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
without like that doesn't really happen here, where it's like there's no like good reason for the snow to happen. Like you're just like, oh, it's just doing this now. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's
There's
definitely
no elevation. It's like
no.
I hate, yeah. Yeah, I not a place I could live
Yeah,
long term.
yeah. I feel like so funny too because I'm from St. Louis and my girlfriend's from Seattle, and when we talk about the Midwest, she'd always be like, "Ugh, the Midwest." And I was like, "No, no, it's great. It's great. Like I know it." To be fair, I love Missouri, and like I think I expected Chicago to be a lot more like St. Louis, where like my dad, who does live in the suburbs, but is like maybe 15 minutes from the city, like has this nicest city park or like this huge suburban park right next to his house. Like you can do a 4 mile run in there easily and not overlap. And like a really pretty like river walk with like bluffs and like
Ooh,
decent hills and
dang.
stuff. And I kind of thought Chicago would be like that. I was just like horribly wrong. I was just horribly wrong.
Yeah, we don't
It's
have
so
any
hard to do
real
anything
parks.
here.
There's no real parks here.
I like should have done that research. I just like assumed that the Midwest was like Missouri, and I was wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's what I tell people also about Boise, because whenever I tell anyone I'm from Idaho, every single time what I hear is like, "Oh, you're the first person I know from Idaho." I'm like, okay.
yeah, sure.
It's a canned response. I just tell people, I'm like, yeah, we've got a lot of different, cool types of nature within each other, pretty near. Um, yeah, a river, got foothills. Like, we've got legit parks, places you can go and walk
Yeah,
without being around a shit ton of people. And
yeah. And that's the one thing I'll say about Boulder that's easier to romanticize it. But now, especially with COVID, it's getting so busy that you actually can never get away from people, like without driving pretty far into
damn,
like the mountains. Like the whole Western Slope is like constantly like every 14 you do feels like your ants going up a hill. Like you can see a whole line of people. So I will say that like it's easy to be like, I miss Boulder, but like, do I? You know? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Nah.
It's just so packed. But anyway, I like what this turned into. I like talking about horror movies for a few minutes too. That was fun.
Half my streams just devolve into talking about horror movies because I did the horror movie deep dive, and
Yeah, so good.
I can pick any
So
topic.
good.
Great.
That was fun last time too, where I was like doing the news quizzes and then we just totally devolved into The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And then that one serious like crossword person came in after everyone and I was like, oh thank God that this you came now and not later earlier.
Was that someone we
But
know or just?
no, it was someone who totally found me in the tags.
Oh, nice.
They're really nice. He was like, can I backseat? And I was like, please, please help me. Like
That's hilarious. As far as I'm seeing, we had no chat interaction for this, but that's okay. It's okay.
yeah,
This is
yeah. I mean it's late on a
yeah,
Monday. Like
yeah, a dead stream. That's all good. Yeah, it's fun. I
we
guess
had
I guess
fun.
a closed shop. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the setup looks fine. Like, do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I need to like take the plunge and do the Skype overlay at some point. So I'm glad you did it with me because that feels a little bit helpful to see. Um, I think it looks great.
Great. Yeah, I don't think there were many issues either. Like there were a couple times you cut out, and I think I cut out for you once, but besides that, I mean,
Yeah,
an hour, hour 20 and like couple issues, that's on the low side. This is one of our lowest
definitely.
technical difficulties. So,
We should win something for that, right? Maybe it's because no one was
Victor,
watching.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't, our stream summary will not be super bopping. I don't know if we got followers out of this.
Yeah, my girlfriend was watching at least, so we have one consistent
Cool.
extra. But
Cool, cool, cool.
yeah,
Hello, Vaughn's
anyway,
girlfriend. It's me. Back.
she's talked about you before. Whenever she watches, she like talks about the personalities of people.
That's fun. That's
I'll ask
fun.
her what do you think. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Well, have a good Monday.
Thanks. I'll